I ask you to rise with us for prayer and pledge of allegiance.
Let's pray. Lord and Heavenly Father, we do pray for family of Linnell Burkampas as she passed away, and we just ask that you would comfort her kids and her husband and all family members. Lord, pray too for Hortensia, our cleaning lady that's having surgery tomorrow. Lord, we just pray that you'd be with her as well. We also ask for safety for our firefighters and for our sheriff's deputies as they serve our community. Keep our community safe. We love you and thank you for blessing us. Help us to get our wisdom from you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll go on to the consent agenda. We got approval of the minutes, accounts payable, and POW MIA recognition day.
Make a motion that we accept the 3 items listed.
Second.
Got motion and support. This POW thing is, we do every year that'll be on September 18th, 2026, to recognize POW.
We have a ceremony at the Veterans Home.
Yeah, so we do that every year. Anybody else, any questions, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Water and sewer project, you got something on that, Peggy?
Not a whole lot. There were a couple of things that had come up that we're working on. Deliveries, making sure local deliveries can get through onto 64th Street, and just, can you think of?
The county-related items.
Yeah, I know, right, yeah, they're county-related, yeah.
Okay,
But they've come to us, so now we're just
Oh.
trying to
yeah,
pass them on to,
yeah,
I've walked it a few times, and I've called Connor a few times trying to keep some heat on him to make sure that he doesn't completely block the road again without notice.
and they did, yeah, and speaking of blocking it too, they had forgotten to move the one that's closer to Byron Center Avenue out of the way a little bit, so I called Ryan last week, and he was supposed to have moved that further to the north so that it wouldn't block coming through too? Okay.
I think he did.
Okay. Okay, good. So we have a meeting tomorrow, our committee has a meeting tomorrow too to
okay,
talk about things.
all right,
Sent him a message today to see when he anticipated being at the turn by the Kilmore property. I didn't hear back from him.
I've been waiting for the change in timeline too, and I haven't gotten anything either.
I think we ought to call for,
You can't get it. Just hold the purse string.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm,
I think
true.
we'll call for a township holiday when they finally get going on
Yes.
that road.
I'm sure there'll be a few celebrating that.
Maybe a whole road celebrating.
The whole road?
Whole township.
We'll close it down for a celebration.
Yeah, we'll close it. Close it for a party.
But close it down for a block party.
All right, then we'll go on to new business, Paramount Development. Got a zoning request from OSPUD and B, that should be B1, it says B2.
Yeah, I made a
B11.
mistake.
That's a typo. So it should be B1 PUD districts to the MFR for the properties located 8451, Burlingame, 1738, 1750, and 1778 84s. So that's all that frontage property there. It has to go in MFR because that whole thing is an MFR district. And then once they get that all settled, then we go back to a B2 designation for along the frontage for the commercial
Saying,
business.
we've done condo projects that aren't in MFR. I'm wondering what's driving the MFR.
The attached.
Yeah.
I think they all are.
Attached,
Osgraph's was MFR.
MFR,
Is it?
yeah.
Okay.
I think that's the
Yeah.
only wording that there is.
Coochie's wasn't, right?
No, those were single.
Those are single.
Those are single,
you go.
off of
Not attached.
76th
They're
Street.
Because they're
attached.
attached.
Yeah, they're
Got it.
attached.
Yeah.
There's the difference right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
But approving this only
Approving
stays
this has
as
nothing to
being
do with next,
approved.
yeah.
that's the next part, the important one.
Yep.
This would be consistent with the master plan,
Right,
which Jay had a comment, it should have been written like that, that if they didn't build a store, it would revert.
Like the soccer place, when they
Correct.
didn't build, it fell back. to
it
its
fell
ori-
back, that's a
yeah,
long.
It should have been
It's
like
old
that.
zoning, that's outdated.
it should have
But it's
defaulted
still
to-
expired, so
It's
that's why we
expired.
have to do this, because they didn't do it for so long, not the applicant now, but back when Spartan
Spartans
Nash
is
had it.
expired too.
That's
the
why
one-
we're here, because
that's
it
the one's
expired a
expired.
long
But
time
if we
ago.
were, if Spartan was here today trying to get this, we would have made it so that if they didn't build it, it would revert back to MFR.
Or
Still expired, so I
Yeah,
guess,
see, the soccer one was different. It reverted back to its original land
but
use.
it's,
it
yeah, but
wouldn't
it's still
revert back to
expired,
MFR, It would
so.
revert back to RA or.
Or whatever.
Yeah,
it
right,
was.
it did,
Okay.
it did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And in
you're
this
correct.
case now, if it doesn't move forward, then we're saying it leaves it at MFR.
Right.
So that becomes now the base district.
What's that, Peg?
That becomes the base district then, is the MFR.
Only if we approve B.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, they're tied together.
What's that?
They're tied together, even though they have to be separate. One can't
You need
exist
the
without
zoning
the
before you can
other.
require the development.
Right,
Right. So, the debate will come at the next step. Use of the land for MFR is proper. It aligns with what's next to it.
Right,
I make a motion, we approve the rezoning, Part A.
I would support that.
we got a motion and support for Part A of this proposal. It's just the rezoning part. Any other discussion? Would you call the roll, please, Peggy?
Scott,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
Jay,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
me, yes, Amos.
Yes. Okay, now we'll go on to Part B. This rezoning the MFR district to an MFR PUD district for the Commons at Walnut Ridge. It's 8451 Burlingame, and then same address as on 84th. So this requires a public hearing, so we'll open the public hearing. So the applicant, Kelly, you got something you'd like to say?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Kelly Kuiper. I'm here on behalf of Paramount Development Company, which is the applicant, and Eastbrook Homes. Mike and Mick and Jeff Van Laar are all on vacation, so I get the pleasure
Oh.
of being with you all tonight. First, I just want to say thank you to the Township for the significant time and energy that you guys have dedicated to this project. And not only really to this project, but all of the matters that come before your board, your site plan review committee, your fire department, your township engineer. Everybody spends a lot of time working on these development projects, and it really is appreciated that there is such a thorough review process. It shows that this group really is doing the township justice and really cares and does a great job. I just want to point out that we were able to attend, I believe it was 4 separate development review committee meetings, which I think was great. I think it was able to allow us to work through zoning, fire concerns, other infrastructure concerns, and we found that time incredibly valuable, and we believe that it helped us get to a plan that meets the density that is prescribed for the site, that meets open space requirements, that meets township private road standards, and also includes setbacks and other lot requirements that meet or exceed other recent projects that have been approved in the community. In fact, at one of the recent meetings, though, it was suggested that there was a change made to the frontmost building of our project. That's a traditional attached townhome building. The suggestion was that we break that building up and do more of the terrace homes that would mimic the existing condo project at Walnut Ridge. And I don't want to throw a wrench in it adding a change at the 11th hour, but we would be open to making that change if that was a condition of approval upon your consideration tonight. As you all know, this property sits within the Burling and 84th sub-area. And this is one of the few locations in the township that the master plan specifically allows for mixed and attached housing. And this matters because it may actually be the only property left within the township that has that MA SFR district designation, which would mean that this is lastly the last site available for this type of project that provides a variety in housing types in your community. And currently the site is zoned commercial. Many of the master plan's recommendations, the preferred land uses, the best practices, those are included in our proposed PUD. Though this was outlined and confirmed in David Jurassic's planner's memo on page 3 when he wrote that originally for the Planning Commission. So specifically, the Byron Township Master Plan on page 61 says that in this particular area, it wants to see townhomes of up to 8 units per acre, trails and sidewalks, parks and amenities, diversity of housing types, and neighborhood walkability. And we believe this final phase of Walnut Ridge provides all of those items that your master plan specifically calls for. In addition, we are keeping the frontage along 84th Commercial, and so we're furthering the overall sub-area plan by confirming a real transition between the commercial and then the residential. It keeps that intense use right at the intersection, and then it includes a like use closest to the existing condominiums at Walnut Ridge, and allows you to then kind of decentralize as you move away into the traditional single-family homes in the remainder of this area. I do want to bring up some of the concerns. So obviously the two biggest concerns for this particular project were density and traffic. So we understand that the density here is higher than a lot of the other subdivision projects that you see. However, as I mentioned, this is one of the few areas, and likely the last piece of property, that the township has specifically planned for this type of development. And it's important to note that the property or the proposed density does remain below that maximum permitted density by the ordinance and within the density framework established in your master plan. So despite that density, we are able to maintain appropriate setbacks for this site. We were able to meet or exceed setbacks and lot requirements for this site. They meet or exceed all of the original lot requirements for the Walnut Ridge condominiums, and they also meet or exceed all of the recently approved Douglas Trails development requirements. And we are still able to include 27% open space on this site. For traffic, this was obviously one of the most concerns we've heard throughout this process. And it's not just at this intersection, but this is a general concern for increased traffic throughout the community. So we understand that because this was a concern raised so frequently, we did go ahead and hire progressive companies to prepare a traffic analysis, not only for this residential proposal, but we asked them to specifically compare it against the commercial PUD that was approved for this site. I'm gonna flip this over real quick. So when they compared those two, what we found was really significant. The previously approved commercial PUD included a grocery store, a gas station with a C-store, 30,000 square feet of retail space, 3 separate office buildings, and 4 large outlots, and all of that impervious parking space. So that layout, all of those uses combined, would generate 9,200 vehicle trips per day, most of that being generated by the grocery and then the C-store and gas station component. If you look at a 15-hour window, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., that's about 600 cars per hour generated by an intense commercial use. By comparison, our residential layout will generate about 700 trips per day. So when you look at the data, we can see that a residential use is a substantially lower impact than the commercial development that was already approved for this site. And that's not to mention that if we don't proceed with some sort of residential development, any commercial development at this site would be significantly higher than a residential project. The significantly lower traffic count should benefit the school campus as well. Doug Gallup, who is a resident of the township, pointed out in an email to the board that the school has worked hard in recent years to improve pedestrian safety around the school through new sidewalks, connectivity. They realigned Alice Street, and a large-scale commercial development could have presented some really serious challenges to student safety and transportation, specifically with the young drivers. He personally believes that a residential use is more consistent, more thoughtful, safer, and better for the long-term needs of this community. I'll just end with that we believe that strong communities need housing opportunities for people at every stage of life. And I believe that this is the biggest benefit of this proposed PUD, is the diversity in housing and the diversity in prices that we will be able to sell these houses at. The families who teach in our schools, provide healthcare, work in local businesses, serve as first responders, and contribute to Byron Township every day deserve opportunities for home ownership. Eastbrook is a company that we only do owner-occupied houses, but that means that we must provide new housing opportunities that aren't just $700,000 and up, and the alternative cannot just be more apartments. This project provides owner-occupied housing opportunities in one of the few and potentially the last area specifically planned for this type of development while remaining consistent with your master plan and generating substantially less traffic than any commercial development, especially the one that was already approved for this site. Ultimately, tonight's decision is not about whether each of us would design this property this way or whether or not we would live here, but it is about whether or not this project and proposal is consistent with the standards, goals, and planning framework, such as your ordinances and master plan, that you all have adopted, and we respectfully believe that that answer is yes. We'd love for you to consider approving this project tonight, but if there are any outstanding questions or comments, I do know that Mick and Mike and Jeff are all sincerely, they're just terribly frustrated that they couldn't be here. They really enjoy speaking with you all and presenting on a project that they feel so strongly about. So I would ask that if there are any outstanding questions that we could table this project if we aren't able to move forward tonight. But I will be here and taking notes throughout the public hearing for any questions and also any questions that you might have as we go on tonight.
Okay, thanks, Kelly. We'll go on to public comments. Anybody, you got 3 minutes that we'll give you?
Good evening. I don't speak real well in public, so you have to bear with me a little bit. I was here for the Planning Commission and turned in a petition that was signed by 149 residents of the Byron Center community. This petition was not to stop Eastbrook. This petition was to address the board and the Township Planning Committee to stop approving PUDs, because PUDs take all of our very hard worked on ordinances and they're thrown out the window. So from the master plan update, through the community input process, this plan, the residents of the township has chosen to proceed with the low impact patterns of development. Community vision. Byron Center will be a tranquil, attractive, fiscally oriented, family-oriented community which provides excellent education, social, employment, and cultural opportunities, fostering a strong, cohesive neighborhoods and prosperous business community. It also, on page 48 of the master plan, it was voted that multifamily housing was voted in at a 7.24%, just above manufactured homes at 1.3. And they also said the township character should be protected that came in at 79.45%. The tax assessments collected on each residential housing unit become a deficit to Byron with a distribution calculated on every $100,000. $686 goes to the schools, $323 goes to Kent County, leaving $82 for the township. And this money is supposed to cover all the additional community services for fire, police, emergency that will all automatically increase. If Eastbrook wants to, we're not against building residential communities. If Eastbrook wants to build a residential community, that's fine. But why does it have to be a PUD? Why does it have to be such high-density housing? You know, put a nice development in there and do the commercial along 84th Street and preserve the Byron Center, what do I want to say? The presence. If I wanted to go buy a home in Ada, I wouldn't look in Ada. I can't afford Ada. I can't afford Cascade. I can't afford East Grand Rapids. But that's just me. I don't depend on those communities to build houses that I can afford. They've protected their community. And putting that many more houses and cars across from the high school, in addition to all the additional traffic that will be on the northeast corner, Burlingame's going to be a mess. And I'm sure there's ways around it, but it is going to be a mess. And so I ask you to consider not passing this PUD, and I reached my time limit. Thank you.
Did you sign your name already? Oh.
Anybody else want to address this?
Do I still have to sign in since you know me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was worth
And we know where to
asking.
find you, too.
Etched in our mind.
They can't find me. Just a little bit about this. I don't agree to any building. I think we really, really need to slow down, but I would have to agree with her exactly on this. It's too much in a very small amount. And then she's calling it diversified in the pricing. How is what they said at the building commission meeting, what they said, I said $300,000 to $400,000 for these? How is that even, I'm sorry, that's just floors me. If they're trying to make more cheaper homes at this point, do the development like she's talking about, even though I don't even agree to the building, but I think that's more feasible than building what they're talking about. So,
Okay, thanks, Kim. Anyone else?
Can I speak again?
No, you only get one shot.
Just 2 sentences?
No.
Nobody's against development, period. I get it, but is this true that this is the last piece of property in Byron that is developable like this? Is that true?
Density-wise.
Density-wise, is that true?
Right, like for attached condos is what they're referring to.
Is it gonna stay that way?
We're only here for a season. That could change with the next board, right?
Okay, well.
So, yeah.
Just remember, it's not your responsibility for the builder to make a profit, and a huge profit. Family homes and a commercial along 84th Street would be a lot less traffic, and it'll make a nicer community there versus apartments and condos and what have it. So that's my piece.
Okay, thank you.
It's not apartment.
so you're saying the master plan could change and it could change to have this later on possibility? for-
Every ordinance we write could change in a year and a half, 2 years from now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else? All right, then we'll close the public comment section of this. Bring it up to the board. If somebody else.
First, thank you for not beating us up with the same lines over and over.
Yeah.
She can't hear you.
So,
Sorry, I said thank you for not beating us up with the same comments over and over. I'm not against developing. I'm not against condominiums. I think there's a little bit being twisted here by Eastbrook in the sense that they're calling this Phase 5. This is its own entity. It doesn't even have a road attaching it to the other development. So using the argument that our average per acre is good over the last development and the new one could be used anywhere in Byron Center. If I own a piece of land next to a developer that didn't maximize it, then I might as well get more out of mine to make that argument. PUDs can be good. Our last PUD we voted in was a win for the developer, it was a win for the township, and it was a win for the neighbors. So don't generalize PUDs as a bad thing. The intent of the PUD is to gain something, not just for the developer. We have a PUD in Byron Center that we approved for condos. It's the same exact density that would have been allowed without the PUD, but we got bigger backyards, giving the neighbors a better thing. We got a shorter road, we got 50% or more green space. That is a win for everybody in this township. So we can't just rule PUDs out, but PUDs can be misused just like any other rule that we have in our ordinance. I personally believe it stands on its own merit, and it should meet the density that goes with MFR. It shouldn't be the density that's blended over another development.
You got something?
I guess I'd like to, obviously, we got a good packet, and we have a lot of information from our planner, which, you know, we spend a lot of money on a planner. And I really like his last paragraph, and I want to read this out loud
Sure.
because I don't think any of us can articulate it like this. Yes. Given the master plan's emphasis on walkability, coordinated development, and integrated land use patterns, a more interconnected street and pathway network could have improved circulation, reduced reliance on Burlingame Avenue for all trips, enhanced pedestrian accessibility between residential and commercial areas, and better position the site for future development coordination. As proposed, the development functions largely as an isolated enclave rather than part of a broader connected neighborhood, which I think is really what you were saying. That they want to, you know, they want to look at the development around it and take the advantages of that into this piece, but we're not making it connected in the best way that it can be.
Yeah, Eastbrook Homes is a good builder. We hear
Right.
very little here at this village about them. But personally, I was a bit offended just seeing it called Phase 5. It's Phase 1 of a new development. Yeah,
Would you like me to, am I allowed to respond, or should I wait until all comments?
I would just wait. It's not a rip on you. You're here representing them,
Yeah.
all right? So
Right.
I feel for you.
Yeah.
And I know that they would love to have bought it a long time ago, but literally it wasn't for sale till Spartan Warehouses was for sale. So,
They needed it off their balance sheet.
yep. So,
I think to interpret what our planner is saying is they're trying to take the advantage of the higher density and not give the connectivity that would allow us to give them a higher. Am I correct? Interpreting that?
I think so,
Yep.
yeah. Anybody else?
Because there's so many people here, I think it's important for us to
Explain
have
it.
this conversation. I think we all know that reading our packet, but I think we need to articulate that with
Yeah.
the people here who are concerned about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a tough corner.
It
It's
is.
a tough intersection, because I mean, whether this board or another board approves anything at any of those corners, I mean, people that have lived here long are not gonna approve of any of it.
oh,
Yeah.
It doesn't,
No,
it
I
doesn't.
live as close to this as
Right.
anyone that's
I mean,
sitting in the
I
room.
get it.
so-
I get it. I've lived here as long as most, my whole life, right? It's just, it's tough. You give them choices, you know, I actually went around and talked to people. I think you got choice A, B, or C, right? A is leave it the way it is. It's not an option, right? You can't control what people can do with their property for the most part, right? So B, you leave it you let it be this, or C, do you let it go all commercial, right?
But even that's not approved.
No, I
That's an
totally
yeah.
get that, right?
Right.
Right. I mean, yeah, again, like, I echo what Jay says, I got nothing against Eastbrook, I
Yeah.
don't know.
In
No.
fact, they would be one
So
of the.
close to the high school.
Eastbrook
That's-
would be one of my choice
Yeah,
developers.
no, absolutely.
I just would
100%.
like to see them work towards,
Yep.
work towards some of the comments that our planner has been trying to work with them.
Right.
Fit within the ordinance.
Try to fit it within the ordinance.
Okay,
And your setbacks obviously are not meeting our standard for MFR. That's why they're calling for a PUD, because
Right.
that's one
it
reason.
ignores the setbacks in the front and the back and the rear.
Side yards,
I don't think we're gaining enough to allow the PUD.
right,
A PUD should be a win-win-win,
right.
yeah, and it's not. So,
So our options are to approve it, not approve it, or table it and let them work with our planner in,
Yeah.
but then it's gotta go to planning commission, correct?
If, I don't know, if we tabled this thing, does that leave room for further adjustment, or does it got to start over?
No,
If we table it.
we could table it, and if they change the plan, then
yeah, we can
could-
vote on
right.
anything, whether the
Yes.
zoning did or didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
With different conditions, because we've done that before. We've changed
Right.
the conditions, like with Southtown with the sidewalk. We made that a condition that wasn't a condition when it went to the planning commission, so.
Well, I guess today, I think, you know, I'd be in favor of tabling this thing and get when Mick and Mike and whoever can get back and start with pre-planning and address 3 or 4 things that we're hung up on. We've been monkeying with this thing for 6 months already, and it keeps getting kicked back and forth. And I think finally the planning commission sent it up to us because on a 4-3 vote, and, you know, kicked it up here so we can deal with it. But I think, like Scott said, I think we have a really good planner. And I think a lot what he said was true. And I think there could be room for some improvement on this thing. If we would tonight just deny this thing, then they're back to square one and gotta go back through all the hoops, right, Peggy? If we start over, if we deny it. If we table it and give us a little time and maybe we can work something out. I think we need to be, I don't think we're gonna satisfy the people probably here, because I guarantee you something is gonna happen there in that corner and across the street. There's nothing scheduled for it. But when there's water and sewer available, you can count on something is gonna happen. Now, if you see this coming and you wanna buy the property and keep it weeds, you have that option. But most people can't afford to do that. So we end up with a developer buys it and he goes by the ordinance to the best what they feel they can and develop this. Now that whole thing was a commercial piece. There's about 14, 15 acres of that thing was commercial. So a big box store could fit in there.
Expired.
It's expired, but that's the way it has been shown, that it was a commercial lot. And if a big box store would have come, I don't know what would have happened if we would have kicked it or let them go through with it. But anyway, when you look at that and the traffic that would generate, you know, it ain't that this is great, but that's way worse yet. And I think, I think we can make some improvements on this. We're a little bit too far off the ordinance for me for a PUD. And PUD allows for you to have like a single-family houses, condos, and commercial on a parcel. Okay, if we don't do a PUD, it has to be all zoned, and then you get caught up with spot zoning it to allow for condos as one zone, single-family houses as another zone, and commercial as another zone. Well, if it ends up to be there's no other zoning near that, then we're doing spot zoning. That's against the law, according to the state of Michigan. So a PUD allows you to do these steps. So that would allow them to be commercial along 84th Street, where it's pretty much going to be commercial all the way to the highway, all the way to Division, actually. And nobody really wants to live right on 84th Street anymore. So the PUD, I'm not a big fan of PUDs, but for that reason, we almost have to do PUDs. When you get to how it's done and all that, we do have a little bit of control on that. So, I mean, it's up to the board. I don't make motions, so, but my gut feeling is, I think if we tabled it, get back with Planning Commission, get with Jurosik and sit down and say, okay, here's what we want, and present it to Mick and Mike. If we can work something out, then we can approve it without making them go pay all the money for Planning Commission and starting all over from scratch.
I'd be in favor of that.
A
Yeah.
PUD, a couple of things with the PUD. The,
Can't hear you.
Talk into your.
the commercial PUD that was there is expired. So everything that gets approved on this land would have to go through all the steps
Be
anyway.
rezoned anyway.
So it's not a
Right.
good argument to use, this is what we could have. They'd have to argue all of those reasons also. But a PUD should not sacrifice density, period. It should be because Tibby wanted to have 4 different types of living units, and we didn't want them broke up into multiple different zonings. We wanted to control them and say, great, we're approving your development, but you're putting all the sidewalk in on 84th Street from Burlingame all the way to the park, or to the house that's by the park. Those are the things that we get when we go do a PUD and kind of control the developer too.
And connectivity.
Connectivity, yes. So I don't like the argument that it could be commercial. They'd have all the same fights, and you would all have the opportunity to voice into that. I don't like it that it's so far out of our ordinance. I don't like it out of the ordinance at all. Just make it fit the ordinance. So, you know, because when we start saying we could get closer, just get there, period.
Yeah,
So I'm not pushing that, I'm just saying let's meet the ordinance. So if they meet the ordinance, that's the same as starting over. Yeah,
but I think if we tabled it and let the pre-planning and Jurosik and the planners
Right.
go through it
I
and
just-
say, here's what we want, and see how close we can
right, I
get, we
just
can
want
make a better
a
deal.
clear message what this tabling means.
Yeah, yeah.
I support tabling it, I motion we table it.
Is that a motion?
Support.
We got a motion and support. Any other discussion? Did you call the roll on this, Peggy?
Amos?
For the table it, right?
Yep.
So this is to table it.
Right.
Yeah.
Amos?
Yes.
Me? No. Becky? Yes. Tom?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Marty?
No.
Scott?
Yes.
So this don't mean it's gonna go away by no means. But I think, you know, we'll get the best we can get, you know, for the area. Something's gonna, like I said, guarantee something is gonna happen on these places that got water and sewer, so. We'll sit down with the guys and see where we can go, get something together and work on it a little longer. All right? So with that, we'll go on to ballot proposal for additional millage for Parks and Rec. So this is a request for a 1 mil maximum on Parks and Rec.
It's on the, oh, her.
This plan is available on the website.
On ours.
So
I thought she was talking about the ballot.
this,
It'll be on our Byron Township website, under
Yeah.
agendas if you want it.
Agenda packets.
Yep, agenda
Yeah,
packets.
agenda packet.
For today's date.
all right, so we need a motion if you choose to, want to put this thing on the ballot for November.
Make a motion that we put the Parks and Rec millage on the ballot.
Support that?
Got a motion and support. Is there any other discussion?
This is November, right?
Be the November election.
November,
Be on the
for the
big
people
one.
sitting in the room. Why don't we talk a little bit
Let's
about?
talk.
I think we need to talk about it.
Yeah. One of the things, I guess to start off, there's certain things that are initiatives that we've been working on. One of the things is sidewalk connectivity. And what has happened the last few budgets is we have budgeted money to install sidewalks. And sometimes we've put them in. We worked on Burlingame. We did a trail from Burlingame into the park. We're actually working on one on 76th Street.
Scott, just clarify though that when you say sidewalks, like I had somebody ask me, it's not to
Replace or
replace
fix.
what developers already have to do. It's
Yeah,
just to
it's
go
all
back
new.
and fix old.
Not necessarily
Or
fix.
develop-
Well, no, not fix, but I mean fill
Install
in
them,
gaps.
fill in gaps,
over
like
the
on
last 20
Burlingame.
years.
Connectivity,
Yeah, yeah.
getting communities connected.
And we're having a hard time as we look out, as we forecast into the future with diminishing state revenue and
Fire.
increasing fire and police. We're getting squeezed going out into the future, and we've actually felt that a little bit with our sidewalks. We've wanted to budget money, and then we'd have to pull that money back to take care of essentials. I think we're all in unison that when it comes right down to it, fire and police are untouchable. We have to provide that. After that, it's sidewalks, parks, and rec. So for us, it's always a tug of war in the budget. How much can we set aside for parks and recs? How much can we set aside for sidewalks and yet not interfere with our fire and police going forward? How this came about was if we were to put it out to the residents, for instance, the dog park. There's people that want a new dog park built on 92nd. We don't know if we're going to have money for that. Some of the sidewalks. Jay and I have been big proponents for getting sidewalks done, but we don't know if we're going to have the money for that. We probably are not going to have the money for that going
For all of
forward.
it, for sure.
For all of it.
Yeah.
So we said, take it out of our hands and let's put it into the residents' hands on a millage. If they want this, then they can vote for it. If they don't want this, then vote it down, and then we've got our marching orders that we're gonna focus on fire, police, general operations.
And it controls the budget.
And it controls, yeah,
That's a biggie.
These funds have to specifically be used for our Parks and Rec. So you think about our playground equipment that can be upgraded. It covers so many things that families here in the community and even neighboring communities benefit from. And to have resources particularly for those things, I think is huge.
yeah. And I don't think that us putting this proposal or this millage out is us endorsing it as a board individually, 100%.
We want to hear from the
But
people.
we want to take it out of our hands and put it in the residents, let them make the decision. I have my own feelings about it when I step away from the board. And I'm sure each one of us have separate, differing opinions about it. And I'm gonna vote on it. I may vote on it as a resident, different than everybody else here. But hopefully that gives a little bit of understanding why we're doing this. I'm not a increased taxes person whatsoever, but hopefully that explains why we're doing this, or why I would be in favor of doing this.
Well, and if you look at the master plan, that was one of the big things that residents, have portrayed was our parks and areas for families to live and grow. And here's dedicated resources for that.
we have more parkland to develop. It just needs a budget that allows us to help develop it. So I'm not a huge proponent. I fought raising budgets, I fought taxes. We're gonna have some increase anyways, just because of fire and police. This is just doing it a different way, but we're putting the control under rec and parks and sidewalk. So,
Can you speak to fire? Because I know one of the things that might come up is people saying, okay, you went and built a new fire barn, and that's why your fire is increasing, and you've got a good way to articulate that.
well,
Not to
that,
put you on the spot.
yeah, I mean, the fire is complicated because we were our own community and we shared one with another community. Our operating cost at our barn here in Byron was exactly half of the cost of the shared community barn. So we were voting as 14 people, which if you think about it, 14 people can't even make a decision because you don't have an odd number. And that budget ran double. They didn't always work so well together, and we thought for the growth of Byron Center, for the future of Byron Center, we ought to have our own autonomy, we ought to have our own operations. We don't have to sit in multiple fire department meetings. And the whole thing ended up being just a really good maneuver, not intentionally so. We were very generous in the buyout, but they came back and said they wanted to be bought out. So literally, I'm gonna guess 3/4 of that building was all paid for by Cutlerville. We also helped do that by self-performing that build. So we're not just about raising taxes, we're trying to guard dollars too at the same time. And it came millions under what was everybody told us it could be done.
We actually had one of our firefighters who was a general contractor in his previous career, general contract it for us with some help of a few of us who are in the business.
That set Byron up for the future. We might look like the bad guys, I can live with that, but we're gonna have probably 3 fire departments someday. There'll be another one over by M6 and Wilson. So that was just a really huge move that this board participated in, and but fire is the biggest thing we have going in this township. 24, we can't get the volunteers no more. We can't, it's just harder. It's just like every other employee thing. So 24/7 fire department and managing all that.
When did we actually, was that last fiscal
Year
year
and a half ago.
that we went to 24?
That was the last, when we went to 2 stations.
Yep, we went to the,
Yep.
so that's a huge jump in our fire budget. And that's where we see the increase in our revenue and our increase in costs.
And
are
state,
gonna-
and state reductions.
And state reductions are gonna connect here
Down the road somewhere.
5 years out, 4 or 5 years out.
So one of the avenues was to come before the people and say, there's probably nothing bigger than fire, police, and rec. That's it. No one cares if we build a bigger office. No one cares whether our parking lot's perfect. They want to go enjoy the parks and connectivity. So that's why this board is putting it to the people to vote. And then we can decide. But forever after that, there's a budget to develop with, and it's healthy, and we don't need to tax the whole thing, probably 6/10 of it.
So if we voted on this, that money stays for Parks and Rec then?
Yeah,
By law.
Fire goes for
No,
Parks and Rec?
It's-
by law, it has to go.
That's why it's peeled off, it's its own entity. So,
and it'll empower the Parks and Rec Committee. Essentially, we'll have to approve the.
everything still is approved
Yeah.
by us.
But instead of coming here
not an
and
open
saying,
checkbook.
we want a dog park, we want a dog park, it would be go to the Park and Rec,
They're like the
Committee.
child that never gets any attention.
you know.
So is the dog park included in that?
Yeah,
It's
the
all
dog
part of
park will always
parks.
be inside the park system.
Yeah.
And we have a beautiful place to put that, and
Dog parks are not recommended, that's where the dogs catch diseases, they get fights,
yeah, so
they're not recommended.
so we're not, yeah.
And that's exactly why we want to do this, to take it out of,
Well, yeah, that's a different conversation that
Yeah.
will never end tonight. And
Yeah.
I know, I'm
we're
aware
not
of
going to open that
so,
up.
Anyways,
So,
We don't need to have open house tonight on this, but you're sitting here, so we're explaining while you're here what that 1 mil that you'll see in the fall is about, so.
And I'd like to say also, I'm willing to stay after the meeting. Many of us would love to stay after the meeting. If you want to have one-on-one conversations, I would encourage that. We're going to have a open comment, correct? At the end, public comment. I would encourage you to just potentially wait and talk to us one-on-one. I think we've found in the past that that's more productive to have the one-on-one conversations. So.
Can I ask the board? I can't? I just want to know who wants to move the park to 92nd Street, because I haven't talked to a single soul.
This isn't an open debate. We brought up why we're putting up the millage, okay? What's that?
Up to.
Up to
Max.
1 mil.
Max of 1 mil. Oh.
And maybe one of you can describe the fire is up to a certain millage, and we have never come up to that yet.
Fire operated fire will eat up all their mills someday, and you will see a vote for fire. There's just no way around it.
Fire's been 0.71 since what, 72?
71.
It's that 1971 until a couple years
For
ago.
O&M.
For O&M, yeah.
Yep.
So for
Operating.
almost 50 years, it's been the same, never moved.
It would be up to us to, if it passed, it would be up to us to decide how much of that mill to actually levy, correct?
We
So-
may still use some of the general fund. We don't need to raise the whole thing a mill, but what we've done is given control to the parks and rec, and it really would be healthy setting up long-term because boards change and personalities change. So,
So votes in November, you said?
what's that?
Vote would be in November?
For the presidential election, yeah.
No, not the
not
president.
No, there's
Well, yeah, no, that's true, they ain't president, but this November,
This
The
November.
general
the
election
general election,
Midterms.
yeah. Ours goes with
on
president.
November 3rd.
So I make a proposal that we approve the additional.
Becky?
So it was already motioned and supported.
Becky
Oh, it is. I
Just
didn't hear.
open the
You
discussion,
seconded
yeah.
Did
It's
you
been so
start?
long.
Yeah,
and- All right,
wow.
yeah. All right.
So we need a support.
It was already motioned and supported.
Oh, we got support?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Any other discussion? Would you call the roll, please?
Becky?
Yes.
Me, yes. Marty?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Amos?
Yes.
Tom?
No.
Jay?
Yes.
All right. We'll go on to public comment. Before we do that, I don't know how many are here for, I know there's been a lot of talk about frontages and less houses and all that stuff. But the planning commission's aware of it, the ordinance committee knows it, this board knows it. It's kind of a slow process, changing ordinance stuff. But it is in the works to look at that. So it's nothing that we can do here in just one night, so.
What's in the works, I guess? I mean,
Well, everybody's looking at 120-foot lots, things like that. There's a lot of stuff addressed in that new ordinance it's just now going to planning commission. So they gotta look at it and see what they think and put their input into it. So there's quite a bit of discussion yet, so to come and talk to us about bigger lots, we're already aware of that, very well aware of it, that people are interested in that. Some are, some not, maybe, but, so that's a slow process that is in the works. As far as the dog park, that ongoing saga over there, they wanted to try to put some artificial turf in there. So we tried that with what we had. Some liked it, some didn't. Now it's out of there again. The plan is, I don't know what rec committee come up with today. They were gonna meet today and discuss what they wanna do. We gotta get that thing leveled off some first, if we're gonna do that, to put that artificial turf in there, or not. I know some are, oh yeah, it's the greatest, and some say, oh no, don't do that. So, sick of that dog park, but Anyway, the bottom line is that's where it's at, so I don't need to hear a whole bunch about dog parks. We're working on it. After we put it in there, I sat there a few days for an hour at a time talking to people. And one lady summed it up pretty good. And she says, you know, she didn't mind the turf. She says, I come every day here with my dog. And she says, I really enjoy this because I don't have nowhere to let him loose. He lives in a condo. And she says, I watch all these comments and all this crap on Facebook and everything else. And she says, you know, it's really funny because she says the dogs all come and the dogs really enjoy it. He says it's all the people on the sidelines doing all the griping about it. And she says it's a dog park, not a people park. Says, and the dogs love it. She says they get out of the car, every dog is clawing to get in the park. She said, I've never seen anybody drag their dog trying to get him to go in there. So she said, the dogs don't mind it. So I don't know why the people are so upset. And she said, I don't think it'd matter how much you spent. Some of them aren't going to be satisfied. So, but we're working on it. It's a work in progress. Rec committee is working on a couple options and different things there. So anyways, you just got to give us some time. That, again, is everything with government, moves pretty slow. So,
Thank you for your efforts on that.
yeah, it's, yeah. Yeah, I think the dogs appreciate it more, but they ain't saying much. So, but anyways, that's a constant struggle. So anyways, we'll open up public comments. We'll give you 3 minutes if you did have something you want to address the board.
I just have a quick question.
Sure. You have to come up and sign in a second. We don't want to make it too easy.
I just want to know how long you can table something for. You know,
Well, this thing here is the first time we've tabled it, so if that's what you're talking about.
yes.
That's the first time we've tabled it. So we have the option. I don't know, Peggy's gone next meeting?
Yeah.
Right.
So it can be
It's gonna be-
tabled for the next meeting.
Uh-huh.
But then, the way the planning commission did it, they went really way too far, sorry, but
Yeah.
you're not the chairman,
I'm not the chairman.
But it went a lot farther than it should have as being tabled. If it doesn't come to a decision and get pulled from the table by the next meeting, then really it should have a determination and then put it to rest,
Okay.
so.
Thank you.
The only thing that would change that is we got to give them a chance to get it. if they're
But
gonna make
it's not
changes.
tabling that you don't have to give them a chance. It's already been through the planning commission. So they got 5 months to give it a chance.
Yeah.
Okay, just curious.
Yep.
I have to rewrite my name.
No.
Okay, just a couple things you guys know that I'd like to put it on public record. A couple of things, they did an amazing job at blocking that. They put a vehicle in front of there, but then they said that the fire department said they can't put the truck there because,
I was there, yes, and I had
Okay.
about an hour conversation with them about that.
Okay.
So it would have to be able to be moved in a moment's notice, okay? So, because it wasn't that day. That day, so I tested, right? I drove down there as a fire inspector, and I could get all the way down to that bridge. So I'm like, well, fine. But the day before I was there, I was going to do that, and then I got called away to a call, so I couldn't get back there. And just my initial look, I'm like, there's no way I'm getting all the way down there, and I wouldn't have been able to.
No,
So my
you can't.
discussion with them was, how are we getting to this house if it's on fire or someone's having a cardiac arrest, right? Because you got nobody manning this truck, and it's not passable. And there's no way we were getting through that day. And so we discussed, so that was a discussion. So somehow we came up with they would email us, let us know, hey, we're gonna be doing side laterals today. We will move this truck for 4 hours or whatever, so emergency vehicles can get through if needed. So what that
so
discussion
it's only
was. I
when they
never
do
said it
side
couldn't be
laterals?
there.
Okay, yeah, because they permanently moved it. They're not putting it back. And we've had all weekend long, moved.
All right, I'll drive with you tomorrow.
Okay. They are reinforcing it though, because I know you probably guys know something's coming
Yeah.
up. They're gonna be opening it up.
It
all
was
of
just that it would have to be able to be moved in a moment's notice,
Makes sense,
right?
yes.
Because we wouldn't have been, when they're doing side laterals, then you can't get down, right? Am I
Right.
correct?
Yes, right.
So,
So
and
you'd
that
have to
means
come
us,
that way
right?
to
So,
get through,
and
yes.
that's not acceptable, so.
Right, yes, okay, yes, but I think they took it a different way. and so
I
they
don't know how he
completely
took
moved
it different. I sat there for an hour and talked to him about it. So I'll go revisit tomorrow.
And then the other thing is, I don't know if you guys are aware of, they hit a utility pole. The one that was right there where they were initially bringing it out, which caused the utility pole in my yard to snap. The wire coming down, which has a ceramic. I don't know.
Insulator.
Thank you. And they busted and blew and hit to my house. Thankfully, missed 2 vehicles. I was told that I'd have answers because my pole is now leaning. And it's not connected to the ground anymore. The pole's still in the ground, but the
Guide wire.
thank you. And I've not heard anything from consumers, which I did call it into consumers. Talked to somebody from Montgomery, got a hold of Don. Yesterday, Don said I'd hear from somebody from Montgomery this morning. I'm yet to hear.
I
I'm
don't know
waiting
if
that down.
Montgomery would
Kim.
mess with the power line, would they?
No, but they
No,
can
but
get
they have
consumers.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, you're
It would be
right.
consumers.
Yeah.
There should, there should be this, usually on consumers, if it's on your land, is it? You can usually see.
No, the pole that they hit is on the property they're doing stuff on, but it affected because
Got it.
that tension came off of it. It caused the problems with mine as well.
Consumers, when there's a call in and when they're responding and when it's cleared, but I don't know about that situation.
Okay, and then lastly,
I could only speculate that consumers has levels of emergencies.
right,
So it's either 1, 2, or 3.
right.
And they are so behind. I mean, they actually had a crew working on one of my developments on Sunday. That's how far behind they are. So
Just knowing answers would, I mean, just
Right.
giving me a
At
heads
least
up.
Probably
Montgomery
looked at
should
it.
be in
Yep.
I'm
contact
sure
to
they
say
looked at
what's
it
going
as
on.
it's not a critical.
Yep, yep.
So.
Just an answer, exactly.
Right.
Let Montgomery let
Yep.
me know, hey, this is what consumer said.
Yeah.
Be great. And then the
Okay.
last one is, it happened a couple weeks ago that the road commissioner was out there at 11 o'clock in the evening, which was really weird. And then last night again, and I'll be very frank with you, I stood out in my yard with my gun in my hand, trying to figure out who was down there messing around. 2 vehicles, one out on the site and then one there. And then when they finally heard me talking really loud and adjusting my cameras, they turned on their lights to where I could tell that it was the road commission. Why are they out there at 11:30 at night? Should they be letting us residents, I mean, it was just a little freaky. How do we address that? Is it not something you guys, or is that we need to go right to
They
them?
don't listen to us.
They don't listen to us.
They don't.
Okay, so I just need to literally
Yeah.
call road commission and say,
Yeah.
hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
Because it was something to do with the bridge.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly, because they were messing around with stuff down there.
242-6900.
242,
6900.
somebody I should ask for in particular?
They'll
They'll
get
answer
you
you
through.
tomorrow morning.
Permitting, maybe.
For what?
Either permitting for, because of soil and erosion, the permitting department, or you can talk to the road safety.
Road safety, okay.
Yep.
Because they're not nice people there.
If you say Billy, you can get straight to a real person.
But I ain't not gonna pay
Usually
you.
242-6900.
Um,
Just somebody.
That was my main, that's what I wanted, yeah.
You
That
have
was
to
it.
be mad at us for more than just that.
I have other questions, but I'll ask you personally. Yeah. Thank you.
It's really going to be pretty nice tonight. First of all, my heart's been breaking for 3 weeks because I had to put my wonderful 3-year-old cat down. She had cancer. So I'm pretty paranoid about animals getting sick. And I guess my question about the dog park, the turf, I've been Googling and I've been asking, is used football turf safe for dogs? That's what you want to do. You want to put used football turf in the dog park. And maybe it can look fantastic. But the answers are, it is not. It is toxic. It is moldy. And it comes right out and it says, do not use football turf on a dog park. And I feel bad I'm paying my dog. I'll never take my dog there. I love my dog. I've just lost a cat. And I love my dog way too much to take her to a park that I know has toxins and mold. And I guess this is my question, has that been researched? I would really like to know the process that went through, and was it researched? Because when I did Google, is there any dog parks in West Michigan? And there's 40 dog parks in West Michigan, and no outdoor dog parks have even dog turf. And we're putting in football turf. So I'm sorry, I think what you're doing is very toxic to our animals. And in a couple of 3, 4 years, we're gonna have animals pass away from that dog park.
Anybody else?
Thanks, Jack.
No problem. I want my 2 seconds.
Yeah, I need 10 minutes.
Then just let me go over.
No wonder you didn't want to run it, Peg.
It is not fun. Okay, ready? Okay, here we go.
Hi, I'm Nancy Hunderman Grit. I have lived at Byron Center my entire life, and I am here. I'm at 7681 and 7675 Homridge, and I'm here because the land south of my 7681 has sold, and I want to be active that I am grandfathered in at all of my family's past lifestyles that we have lived there. I want to keep that up, and that my privacy is valued with what's coming south of me. I would like to actually have a 4-foot fence if they get a permit. If they would put a 4-foot fence in on the property line, just to keep things private, because that's how my family likes it. I do not want to, in the future, put that we cannot hunt, shoot guns, and have ranges, because that's what we have. Good neighbors, fences keep good neighbors. That goes back to the 1800s. My family's been there 125 years, and I don't intend on changing anything that we have done in the past. So if I decide to, whatever, have animals, I'm gonna have them. I'm not gonna hear a word, because I should be grandfathered in. There, end of my speech.
Are you talking about the Cross Fellowship property?
Yes, I am. I have wrote a letter to that church. I have not heard a response. And I just plan on being at all the meetings.
I don't think they've submitted it. I don't mean, what?
Well, I'm trying to be proactive.
Right. Thanks, Nancy.
Anybody else?
Hi, I didn't come here planning to do this at all, but I thought I would. I want to go back to the property on 84th and Burlingame. I have a question about, I see a lot of earth being moved and big equipment in there already, and it hasn't even been approved yet. Just help me understand, like, what?
Different parcel.
Kitty corner.
Completely different.
Oh, it is?
You're talking about the one north of the high school. They were
Correct.
talking about the one to the west of Burlingame.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
where they want to build. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now I understand. What's going on that side on the,
That's a housing development.
Same thing.
And commercial. Yeah.
oh, okay.
But they still have things that they have to go back to the planning commission to get done. They can move dirt, but there's other parts of the infrastructure that they have not been approved of yet.
Okay, but that's different than what she's proposing.
Yes,
That's the west
correct.
side.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's something that's already been approved on the east side?
On the north
Northeast
side.
side?
Northeast side,
About a
yeah.
year ago.
Okay, where it
Yeah,
said
but
future
there's
home of,
still other things they still have to get done.
it has said future home of Lake Michigan Credit Union, I think, or was it Arbor?
No, Arbor.
Is that actually going to go in there? or
For
no?
many years.
That's going there too,
Yeah,
so-
right.
Oh, is
Yeah.
that? Okay.
Been
Stay
sitting there
after,
for
ask
a while.
questions if you want.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. And then the other thing, just about the response to the, I'm brand new to Byron Center just a few months ago. So we moved here because we love the, the spaciousness and the feeling of just, space and green space and all of that. And again, real concerns like everyone else has said about, I have a question about the infrastructure, with that many new residents. I don't know a lot about the board and the budget and all of that, or the township, but sustainable for the services, the fire and the police and water sewer and waste management, all of that. Has the board already expanded those services to allow for all these additional residents that come in?
Talk to her.
We can answer some of that at the end.
That's what she's
Okay.
mad at.
What's your name?
Siri Dieters.
She'll
Siri.
sign in.
Harry?
Siri. Okay, I'll sign in. Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I just wanted to talk a little bit about the dog park. While yes, dogs do get excited to go no matter what it looks like, there's also safety that comes along with that with our animals. Owning a dog business, I have visited a lot of dog parks, and some are safer than others. So I don't know that it's about this, it doesn't matter what this park looks like, because our dogs run to the park no matter what. I think there's a lot more to it than that. I personally think aesthetically that the turf doesn't even look well. I think aesthetically it looks really bad. Outside of all of that, there is a lot of research to be done about artificial turf and that it is not safe for dogs. I was at the Parks and Rec Committee the last time it was hosted here, and I explained a lot of stuff in there that could have just been found on Google. I think I'm not understanding why we have not researched what is safe to put in there and what is safe for the dogs. I don't know who wrote this, but I read something on Facebook about the plan of the dog park, that there was a plan to put a new hose in there so that, I don't remember the wording, but it was something like, so residents could wash things off if needed. I'm taking that as that this is now going to be coming in our hands to maintenance this park. I'm wondering who is going to maintenance this turf when it gets down? Who is going to test it to make sure it is safe for dogs? Why did the research not get done before it was done? Because in the Parks and Rec meeting, we talked about that the ground had to be leveled and it wasn't done before the turf got rolled out. And how long is this going to take? I understand we have to give you guys time for everything to happen, but that's a long time for something like our Parks and Rec, for families to gather, for people to get together. This is a long time. We don't have any answers, and also where do we find the answers? There's a park out by Subaru car dealership off 28th Street. That Subaru is a car dealership, and they did a ton of research and built a dog park. Why are we as a township not doing the research and making our dog park safe? So those are my questions that lie within that. Thanks.
Anybody else?
Yeah, dog park. Sorry. Know you guys want to hear about it. I can tell you guys aren't huge fans of it. But my one question would be, like, I was gone last week. I came back, and then I saw all these huge rolls of turf. Then I saw that there was an attempt to try to lay them over what was pre-existing. Obviously, there's drainage reasons. I mean, if it's gonna be there, like I've been in like excavating and landscaping for 20 some years. Like from the parking lot, all the water flows towards the little dog pen. Then it goes into the big dog pen. Grading, I mean, like the most basic thing. Like you don't throw a yard in with a bunch of clumps and just throw seed on it and expect it to look good. You know, you see a hole in your living room wall, you don't paint over it or throw a handful of mud at it and then paint over it and expect to look. So laying turf over what was existing, it's kind of comical. Like how do we even think that was gonna even work? Okay. So, I mean, if we're gonna do the turf, I'm not a fan of the turf. Who's gonna clean that? Oops, sorry. Who's gonna clean that crap? Because dogs don't have nice, solid, crusty bowel movements. Like, who's gonna clean that stuff? Is it antimicrobial? Or we can't expect everybody to hook up to a power washer and clean their dog's diarrhea off the turf. The turf ain't gonna work, probably. Let's get the drainage right, if we're gonna even keep it there. If we're not gonna keep it there, there's a ton of people who want that dog park there. I'm sorry for the people who built a home next to a dog park, but you don't build a house next to an airport and start about the airplanes. If we're gonna do it, let's get the drainage thing figured out. Stop some of that water coming off that parking lot. You can put a 6-inch stocked perforated drain tile, rocks on it. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
To keep that water from washing out the dog park. Get some grass growing in there. And at least run a Harley rake over it. Get it leveled out, give it some time, shut it down for a little bit, let it seed, let it establish itself. Then we got grass again. But you can't throw turf over mud puddles and think it's not gonna gather water again. So, and the turf, I don't know. The turf ain't gonna work. It's gonna be an issue. Unless you get the right turf, you gotta get the right substrate underneath it in order for it to drain and cleanse itself. But just saying, the turf ain't gonna work. So, probably should put the kibosh on that one before we're wasting any more dollars.
You didn't sign it.
Can I speak on this one?
No? Yeah, you can. You haven't done this.
I don't think he signed in.
Just quickly, again, about the dog park. I think there's room where it is existing to make it bigger. And I truly believe that having a bigger park would be able to make it a better park as far as grass and usage, because there's a lot of dogs that go through there. And I think there's enough area around there that if it expands and we put a nice fence, I think that would take care of a lot of things. So that's all I have to say.
Did you sign in this time, Dar? Did you sign in?
Yeah.
I didn't know if you signed in the first time.
Anybody else? Time we're done, Addison will have a handle on that clock. Oh, you got it? Oh, yeah. All right. We'll close the public comment and go to members' items. Peggy, you got anything?
Yeah, so I won't be at the next meeting. That's the first one I'll have missed in 12 years.
Ever?
Ever, in 12 years since I started doing it for the Planning Commission and ZBA, so. But the joint workshop is set up for Wednesday, July 1st, from 3 to 5, with the Planning Commission to look at the new zoning ordinance. So David's gonna send an email, and then I'll forward it to you, that'll have the red line area, like the big concepts that are changing, and with more information that'll explain that, so.
What time again?
Next Wednesday, July 1st, from 3 to 5 p.m.
What was the time again? Sorry.
3 to 5. Next Wednesday. So that'll be the first one that we have that will go over things. Yep. And so for next meeting, then, one of you guys can take minutes.
Nominate Jay.
Marty has to do that.
I said I nominate Jay.
Yeah, I support that.
All in favor, say aye.
Anything else, Peggy?
Nope, that's it.
Marty?
We had a little Parks and Rec committee prior to this, talking about trying to prioritize the capital improvement list with what we got budgeted for capital improvement. We just wanted a couple things, answers, just so we can move forward a little bit more. Because there was, on one of the things, we had moving the bicentennial playground equipment, and it's after doing a little bit more digging in with that, we're not gonna do that this year. We don't want to. That's not a priority, because it's gonna cost a little more than what we initially budgeted for. So, with that being said, I think from me looking at our notes in our budget, we have 247 budgeted for the parks, 25 for rec, and 95 for community center. The big one is the parks. We just kind of curious, what have we spent and what is left, so we can prioritize that list. I think a big one was you said driveway, but
That's what,
Who's
the
back
meeting
there?
that I went to the last time, they went with the driveway. That was in the minutes, it's in the
I
packet.
thought we were talking about the walkway from, there's a walkway that's become unsafe.
With the minutes, they're talking about the driveway from
main road.
76 down to the garage.
Sherry, what were we talking about?
So last meeting was Friday.
Yep.
And we came and
What
said
were-
that.
Is that what we were discussing?
No, so then.
That was the last meeting.
Yeah, so then today, what were the three things you wanted to prioritize?
Today, the first thing was the driveway that we approved earlier this month. The second thing was a walkway that will connect Whistle Stop to Amber Lake.
West entrance of Whistle Stop and back in the trees.
Back in the
That was
trees and
12,000.
Okay.
And then the third thing was a new playground equipment, but we're waiting on a grant with that, so probably by the
Right, so
time
that
we
one's
get
not
it,
gonna be this year.
It
So
won't be this year.
anyway, instead of doing that, that's 150,000 now that we're gonna spend, we're not. So, really, we just wanna know, the committee wants to know, what do we have left to spend, so they can give it a list of recommendations to bring here, so we can figure out how to prioritize those. So,
I think that's gonna be a matter of getting with Bill.
Yeah,
and
and
looking
Peggy.
at- And Peggy,
Yeah,
and
yes.
making that budget.
Yep. And I'll make a comment about the dog park without trying to get too emotional about it. So I was a big proponent of the turf. I have it in my backyard. My dogs love it. And I have the football turf. I bought 2 rolls from the same guy we bought all this. It's been great. No issues. So it was I brought it to the committee, and if it doesn't work out, I'll take full responsibility. What I won't take responsibility for is how it was installed. That was embarrassing. That was not how it was supposed to be installed. I don't know why they installed it like that. I'll leave it at that. That was embarrassing as a township to put it down like that. So I made the recommendation, we're looking for a low-cost solution to get rid of all the mud and dirt for a time being. It's no secret, I'd like to move the dog park to 92nd Street because it could be bigger, better. It's really nice out there when we get our walking trail and all that, it's all done. It's a few years down the road, yes. So that is my take on the turf. Whether it's, I can't say the fact whether it's bad. All I can say is millions and millions of kids around the country play football, soccer, and softball and baseball on it all year long. They don't play on it. They get tackled, it's all in their face. My kid played football on it for 4 years. I'm not saying it's bad. I'll do a little research. My bad. All I'm saying is if it's that toxic, why do our kids play on it? That's all I can say to that. So we thought it might be a low-cost solution. This wasn't super expensive. If it doesn't work out, that's on me, right? Or it's on this board, I get it. But I will say it was not installed right, and we're gonna try and see if there's a better way to do that, so.
And I can add too, we decided to just do a part of the large dog
Yeah,
park too, and
we're
not do
not
the full
doing the whole
amount,
thing.
so-
We're only gonna do a
Right.
third of it or a half of it.
Yeah, just to see
The rest
what
is
would
still gonna
happen.
be to be grass. The small dog park is gonna stay all grass.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and we'll go from there, so.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got.
Anything else?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah. Is Terry here yet? I don't know who that was that spoke a while ago, but about developing an infrastructure. I think she may have left already, but infrastructure, schools, roads, that part of infrastructure always follows the developing. It never leads. We're gonna live on busier streets and our schoolrooms will be full, and then the schools grow and the schools add on and the roads are developed. It's just the way it is, and we're at the crossroads of M6 and 131. We will never stop developing here. All we can do is best manage it or set the future up for some green space. So parks, or a while back, this board approved private roads, which are bigger lots, trying to keep green space. So we're not all about density. We're trying to work within the ordinance that was handed us and in the master plan that was handed us. I think the dog park thing, Crystal had a way to put it in and wanted it to put in, if I understand, and it got put in while she was off on bereavement, and it probably should have waited, because there was some steps that had to be done. And I just think, I honestly feel Brian should report to the township manager or clerk, and then we wouldn't have a confusion of orders that we have around here. This has happened more and more, and I'm really making a motion that if siblings shouldn't report to siblings, Brian should report to PEG temporary until we have a township manager.
He don't report to me.
What's that?
He goes to Crystal.
But he does what
But
you
he's
say.
getting thumped.
No, he doesn't go to Crystal. He goes to you.
Well, supposedly, but everything they do in the parks all comes through Crystal. He deals with Crystal
He doesn't
all the
report to
time.
When
Crystal.
we hired him, that's not how we set it up.
He doesn't report to Crystal. We had him separated.
I'm
that'd be news
making
to
a
him.
motion that it goes to the clerk or temporary township manager.
Support that.
Well, I know where you get that from, but anyway,
I
we got
have-
a
I
motion
have
and
several
support. You
incidents.
got any other discussion? In favor, say aye.
Aye.
What else?
That's it.
Scott?
I'd like to just add on to what Jay said. We get, we take all these comments about the dog park, and most of us, including me, I had nothing to do with the turf, didn't know anything about it. And there's other areas, like Jay says, that all of a sudden, Amos, you just decide to do and you go off and do. And then we, get the backlash on it. So
Yeah.
I would hope before you do anything more like this that you would.
Well, there's a whole lot more to that than what you guys know, and I ain't gonna discuss that. Anything else?
Well, we should know because we get the comments from
Well,
it.
that may be, but
It's not a
Anything
maybe.
else?
It's not a maybe.
That's the way it should be.
we already went through that. Got anything else? Meeting's adjourned.